Hey, let me ask you a question. Are you eager to find a highly profitable business opportunity that you can start right now during the downtime that COVID-19 pandemic has created around us? Well, today I'm going to share with you my approach and my process to finding opportunities in times of crisis. In this video, I'm going to make two assumptions. The first one is that you do have quite a bit of downtime because you most likely self-isolated. And the second assumption I'm going to make is that you do have a burning desire and then you're super excited and eager to create a business that will help you to becoming financially free. So today I'm going to share with you two offline businesses and two online businesses that you can start right away during this crisis, this pandemic that we're going through right now. Plus, I'm going to share with you one bonus that's for those of you who are a little bit more advanced in their business. But what's really more important is that I'm going to share with you why those businesses are great opportunities and how you can always find opportunity during crisis. There is a science to it. So essentially, I'm going to walk you through why those opportunities are so great and how you can find more opportunities for yourself. And towards the end, I'm also going to share with you the process that you can go through from not knowing anything about that industry or that opportunity to having a skill set to be able to be a kick-ass, very good at it, and nailing your first customer. Hey, what's up? My name is Aris and welcome to Diaspora Achievers. In this channel, I take the African diaspora on a journey to creating businesses that contribute to the development of the continent, help change the African narrative around the globe, and help you becoming truly financially free. And if you're new here and want to be part of this journey, here are your first two steps. First of all, go ahead and click on the subscribe button below this video and then click on the notification bell so that you never miss another video to help you succeed building Africa. And then the second thing you want to do is click on the description box below. There's going to be a link that you want to click on to get a copy of the free book that I put together for you that will allow you to understand three things. One, what are the major obstacles that African in the diaspora face when it comes to investing back home or building African businesses in general, no matter if it's here or back home. And number two, it helps you understand why building businesses is essentially the best way for you to impact Africa and to change your life at the same time. And number three, you'll be able to get tips, tricks, and different ways you can change the African narrative around you right now. So don't remember, check out the description below, click on the link, and enjoy that read. Let's get into it. So like I said, I'm first going to walk you through the process and the method, and then I'm going to dive into the specific opportunities. The first thing you want to look at is what exactly is that pandemic or crisis imposes on us. In this current situation with the coronavirus / COVID-19 pandemic that we live in, is we have to physically distance from each other. So we have to practice social distancing. So that's the constraint that this pandemic imposes on us. Then after that, you want to look at the implication. What are the implications of being physically distant from each other? Well, in terms of the workplace, it means working from home for most people at least. So what that means is internet is going to be your major, if not only way to start working and engaging with your customers and engaging with your partners, engaging with your co-workers and your bosses, etc. So essentially, the whole internet is where it's at. Now your question to me is probably, well, internet is an ocean. There's so many opportunities. Where exactly is the money at? And my answer to you would be twofold. The first one, if you're a full-time employee, you have a regular job, you have to work from home, so your company probably would have either supported you in getting your table, monitor, something of that nature. That's not really where the money is at, in my opinion. Obviously, you can, set up a little business where you deliver furniture or you put it assembly, put it all together, but that's not where the money is at. The second category of people who are impacted is those who are essentially who've been working from home for a long time. now they're essentially going to continue doing what they're doing. So I'm thinking about entrepreneurs, I'm thinking about self-employed folks, freelancers, content creators. Those folks are the ones who are heavily going to need your services or more services, or even those who are essentially going to take advantage of maybe not losing, having some downtime and wanting to leverage that time and transition from full-time perm to, entrepreneur, freelancers, content creators. So now what does that mean? That means that those folks will need help essentially for everything: creating content or product and services, delivering those, supporting those, and we'll get to it shortly. So now that we've isolated the group of folks that we want to help, we need to dig in further and figure out what kind of problems they're going to face so that we can build a business and create value for them by solving those problems. And in order to do that, we need to understand that content creators, entrepreneur are really, for the most part, they're really creative folks. So they will easily come up with concept, they'll easily come up with solution, but the struggle they probably would feel or they probably will have is when it comes down to the nitty-gritty details, right? That's where, for the most part, they're not the best at. Now I'm going to get into the meat of this. I'm going to share with you 2 online opportunities that you can get to right away. But before I do that, you need to understand that for all these opportunities, you have to look at them through a specific lens. And that lens is, what are your skill sets? Are you essentially skilled to be able to answer those problems? 2, what experience do you have? Have you done it before to the point where you're comfortable and confident that you can solve those problems and deliver value for them? Or 3, are you passionate about that space so that if there's if there's bumps along the way, you can get up and go back at it again without being tired or without feeling a bit lazy? So as you go through this opportunity, keep those 3 filters in mind always. So the first opportunity that I have for you is around content creators, and more specifically, video and audio editing. Let me give you an example. So for you to be able to watch this video, I had to come up with a topic, put the structure of the content together, shoot the video, edit the video, upload it on YouTube, promote it from YouTube. So there's a lot of time spent for you to be able to watch this content right here. Believe it, from somebody who's had a podcast and who had to do all the editing by himself. Now, the way you can bring value to a content producer is basically to tell them, hey, I know it takes up a lot of your time to, do the editing and the uploading and the promoting. You may want to spend that time, however long it takes, 2, 3, 4 hours, and produce and shoot more content, shoot more videos, shoot more podcast episodes. And that's where you would position yourself and say, hey, I'm going to take that weight off your shoulder and do all the editing and all the uploading and all the promoting for you, right? So that person who's essentially trying to make most out of their downtime during this pandemic or during this crisis can be like, this kind of makes sense. I don't have to, spend the extra 4 or 5 hours. Actually, I could use those 4 or 5 hours, however long it takes to edit, promote, and upload. I can use that time to produce even more videos. I hope you see what I'm getting at with this in terms of value. So by now, you're totally in line with me. You totally understand. You're probably excited about the opportunity to be a video editor or an audio editor, and then, show your creativity, help that content producer out. But you have never done that before, and you don't know where to get started, or rather, you don't even know if you're going to like it or not. Well, here's my suggestion for you. You can go one of 2 routes, right? The first route is to go for free, right? You basically look up online. So once you go online, you can easily find tools and software to help you do video editing and audio editing. To be honest with you, it's super easy. You just, once you purchase the tool itself, you spend a few hours online, and then it'll be super easy for you to do it. Or you can go the other route, which is essentially to purchase a full training, which are always best, because with a full training, not only you know what to do, how to do it, but you also understand how to do it, right? So you can basically, if you get the concept, you can flip between different tools. So I always suggest to go for free first to get a sense, is it for you, is it not for you? And once that's done, you can graduate into a paid program where you get the full structure and you get the support on top of it versus searching online for like an hour. In a couple of seconds, you can just get your answer right away if that program is so solid that you get support with it. That's actually how I started myself doing audio editing as well as video editing. So I know it's possible. I know it's not rocket science at all. It just takes a little bit of time for you to research. But again, you probably self-isolated, not doing much stuff outside. So why don't you leverage that time to make the best out of it? Now, your next question would probably be, sure, I do have the training. I know exactly what it is. I've played with it and I'm ready to get my first customer. Not yet. What you want to do is during your training period, during the time where you're trying to understand how the editing works, all the tips and tricks and all that stuff, you want to do an actual job where you go out and shoot some raw videos. With those raw videos, you turn them into final edited footage. And then the reason you want to do that is you're basically building yourself a portfolio so that when your customer asks you, well, what are you capable of doing? What are you doing? You don't even say much. You basically show them or give them access to your website. And in your website, you basically would have before and after, so raw footage, edited footage, right? Actually, let me tell you right now, the best way for you to go out and get your first customer, or actually your first couple of customers. What you want to do is pick a niche. Once you've picked that niche, all of your videos going to be around the same kind of topic. For example, you can say, I want to focus on doing video editing for soccer teams, right? Football. If you focus on that, all of your footage, all of your work is going to be around soccer content. And the reason for it is the following. Imagine you the owner of a soccer team or the manager or, media person for that team, and then you're looking for video editors. And once you go ahead and take a look at the portfolio, you see that all of my footage is concert, car racing, for example, snowboard, for example. You couldn't really understand why and how we relate to us versus the next person who comes up and talks to you. And then when you look at a portfolio, all they have is soccer from different countries, from different sides, from different angles, from different teams, different size of stadiums. So you can see directly that they can see themselves in the second one versus me coming out here, showing you music videos, showing you concerts, showing you races, right? So you want to make sure you pick that niche, and then you could grow later. That's totally fine. You can grow, but you have to start somewhere. You have to be specific and make sure you make them understand that you understand their problem because you've been doing that for a long time. It's basically like a surgeon versus a GP, a general practitioner doctor. One is an expert into a specific field. The other one is a sort of a jack of all trade. We all know that the surgeon is paid a lot more than the GP over here. So like I said, to recap, once you have your training all set with your portfolio, put a niche together. In that niche, put a list of 50 different prospects you want to reach out to and start reaching out to them. So when you reach out to them, at that point, you make your pitch, right? And ideally, let's just say, for example, it's a soccer team. You would have gone where they practice. You would have actually shot a raw footage of their practice and edited for them and tell them, okay, this is what you guys are doing in terms of raw footage, and this is what I could actually do for you. So you basically show value right away. There's no need to negotiate, but it reduces the gray area, the gray zone a lot. And then if you go out and do it for 10, 20, 50, you might be flooded for more work than you can actually deliver on. Let me give you an example of another niche you can go for right now that could be a good look for you. You can take a look at hospitals. You can reach out to grocery stores. You can reach out to Airbnb hosts. Your pitch to Airbnb hosts will be something like, I understand you don't get as much traffic as you used to, But for the traffic that is, you want to stand up for your competition and really show them how you clean up your place, how your place is taken care of every time people come in and people come out. So you would actually shoot, or they will basically send you raw footage of how they clean the place, how they prepare the place, and that in timing right now. Let me tell you this from somebody who's got Airbnb properties, that is something that's very, very useful and very, very valuable to stand out from the competition and show and prove to my prospects, no matter if they are nurses, doctors who are looking for a location close to the hospital, or for folks who are looking to self-isolate themselves. That's actually the type of videos that I want to show to my audience. I want to show to my prospect that, hey, I'm actually doing a lot more than the regular Airbnb host. Now let's focus on the second opportunity. In this case, we are looking for online websites that are crappy, either because the website is not good, or you have a store, a shop that has a bad online presence, or even better, no online presence. And then you pitch to them is, I'm going to either fix your website, or I'm going to create your website so that you don't have to lose on your revenue. You can essentially simply translate your traffic that you have offline and bring them online. And really the main criteria here is for you to focus on crappy website only. And let me be very careful here. What I mean by crappy website is not a website that looks good or that looks bad. I can't care less about it for two reasons. One, looking good or looking bad is completely subjective. And two, looking good or looking bad doesn't mean that it will make money, right? What I mean by crappy here is a website that does not convert. Because the goal of a great website is to convert visitors into paying customers. That's it. And to be honest with you, most of websites out there, I literally mean it, most websites out there are really poor and really bad at it. Let me give you a tip on how to identify that a website needs some help. If you land on a website, and if you realize they spend more time talking about themselves, how great they are, how they've helped customers, how they've been doing business for 50,000 years, all that stuff, that's a clear sign, or rather a red flag for them that they need some help. Now for this, you want to be more than a digital marketer. You want your expertise to be in conversion and optimization. In order to get into that field, you'd want to learn about conversion, optimization, funnel building, funnel optimizations as well. Essentially, most great digital marketing program, training, or academy will have that certification. Essentially, all great digital marketing programs or training or certification will have an expertise or a specializations that's around, funnel optimization and conversion and all that good stuff. So look for great programs that train on that, and then with that, you'll be a killer. So once you take that program, you've done that, you totally understand it. Your next question will be, well, how do I go ahead and get customers and get paid? And then the first step for that will be similar to the one for the previous opportunity, which is make sure to pick a niche first. Let's just say, for example, that you focus on farmers that do have a website or don't, or you focus on boutique and super healthy niche boutique stores. You basically would approach them and pitch them your services. Again, you make a list of 50 plus companies. Remember, you have no geographic boundary or geographic limit. You can basically reach out to prospects who are 2, 3, 4, 5 hours away from you and offer you services. And now this is how you're going to kill them when you reach out to them. You don't reach out to them to say, hey, please, I'd like to get a job working on your website, or I'd like to build your website. No, you basically run an audit of their website, right? You basically run a conversion audit. You basically run an optimization audit and tell them, this is the list of errors that I've seen on your website. And then for each item, you will list out the impacts, right? And every single time, the reader, the owner of that company needs to understand, I have 20 issues and here are the impact of those issues. They could be, ideally actually, they will be in dollar sign. You don't have to have the exact dollar sign. You probably won't have it, but give them a sense of how bad it is. It could be on the branding side. It could be on the conversion side. It could be on social proof. It could be so many things. And then you would come up with recommendation. You would put all that stuff together, send it over to them and tell them, this is what I found. Feel free to reach out to me if I can help. Don't be worried about them taking your work and giving it to somebody else. I'm never worried about that kind of stuff. That's a scarcity mentality. You have to be confident in your own skills. Yes, maybe 1 out of 50, 2 out of 50 will probably do that. Because you would have done that, they will trust you even more and they will reach out to you and say, hey, you've done this thus far already, let's have a conversation. Or at least if you reach out to them with that, they'll be happy to have a conversation with you because they know that all that part, well, technically, all that part they wouldn't have to pay for, but that's something you have to negotiate. But the most important thing, remember, is to get to first 2 or 3, 4, 5 customers. You can actually let me know in the comments below if you want me to tell me more about how to acquire more customers with those strategies, because those are stuff that I've done in the past. So in the second part of this video, I'm going to share with you 2 offline business opportunities that you can start right now during the downtime caused by this crazy pandemic. As human beings, when the economy is doing fantastic and then we're doing well, we tend to spend and overspend on items and things that we don't actually need. Some of you are probably familiar with the hierarchy of needs from Maslow. So if you want to take a look at it from that perspective, when times are great, people spend on the stuff that are on top of the pyramid. And when the recession or the crisis hit, people really cut on everything and really focus on the basic needs, really, the vital needs actually. And if you focus on these vital needs for a second, which are water, food, shelter, and other stuff. If you focus on these basic and vital needs, you have stuff like shelter, food, water, clothing, and a few other ones. So if you pick one of those industries and decide to make it your area, you would win. I would be curious to know for you, when did you realize that COVID-19 was a big deal and was getting really serious? For me, I realized it when the city of Toronto, where I live, decided to shut down all the non-essential businesses. And in essence, non-essential businesses or businesses that are not essential running the economy. And an essential business will be a grocery store, for example. People need to get fed, people need to eat. So if you focus on the food industry for a second, and we take a look at the supply chain, we have a few items. We have the input, the production, the transformation, the distribution, the retail. So that's in that food bucket, right? So that essentially is where you would want to position yourself to find your opportunities. Now remember what I said earlier, there's 3 things that you need to layer over any opportunity. Your skill set, how good are you, or what kind of training, what kind of expertise do you have, your experience, have you delivered value before, how confident are you that you, or what makes you confident that you can deliver value, and 3, your passion. What if shit hits the fan and it really starts struggling? Do you have the passion to really fight through and fight through the obstacles and keep going? If I were to look at it from that lens, I look at myself and look at it from the perspective where I do have experience, skill set, and passion in the digital space, because I've been doing that for a long time. Now, I'll be looking at those areas, as I mentioned, where you have the inputs, the production, the distribution, the retail in the food industry, and I'll be looking at it and say, okay, where can I apply my skills, my passion, as well as my experience? And it would help me to this one opportunity, helping businesses set up online delivery solutions by themselves, right? Instead of using solutions like the Uber and all the other competitors, I'll help them and say, hey, you don't have to, get a cut from your order using Uber. You can run the service by yourself, right? No matter if it's pickup or delivery. I mean, that's in addition to what I mentioned earlier, which is helping those stores go ahead and set up a website where they can actually sell more online. But really, this is going the next step. Once your website is nice, once your website converts, bringing traffic to your website. The second opportunity will be around setting up sanitation solution for the food industry. It could be around the distribution centers, it could be around the actual grocery stores or any places like that, but really my focus will be on that, right? There's probably going to be a lot of competition now, but you can definitely follow the process and say to yourself, this is how you go in and find opportunities. In terms of how to get your first client, the approach is exactly the same. You figure out your niche, the smaller, the better. You list out your 50 prospects and then you start reaching out to them with your portfolio that you would have put together. Now I mentioned that I had a bonus for you. That's a little bit more advanced, but it gives you an idea of what you can pull out of your bag of tricks. So during this COVID-19 pandemic, one of my digital marketing clients brought to me the attention that he didn't know how to turn this situation into a profitable one. So I suggested to them that they could basically not push so much for selling their product, but more so to establish their brands, right? Just to make sure that in their community, their brand is recognized as the one that supports their customers, that supports the community, that supports the healthcare folks, right? So if you think about it, during the period of crisis, you're not pushing for sale, but you're looking back and saying to your team and saying to your customers as well, hey guys, we are not trying to make money, we're trying to support because we're all part of the same struggle over here. And when that pandemic is over, they can now turn around and go back to regular business because they would have changed their brand, they would have changed their image, or maybe not changed, but improved it. The reception from the community where they're selling at will be a lot better. So the question of the day, which one of those approaches makes more sense to you? Because if you understand the approach that I walk you through, you'd be able to find your own opportunities and even more opportunities. So if you like this content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and share it to as many people as you can, just to let YouTube know that you want more content for Africans in the diaspora, and make sure you share it with people who are looking to leverage this downtime to change their lives around. Peace.